Walk into a Best Buy and everything feels familiar. But beneath all of that comfort is a system most shoppers never notice. A system designed to steer you long before you realize what you want. Because Best Buy isn't the store you remember. It quietly transformed into something far more calculated. And if you don't understand how it works, you're not shopping. You're being guided. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly when Best Buy saves you money and when it quietly drains it. And the very first misconception, the one almost everyone believes, has already cost shoppers millions. So let's expose the truth, hiding behind the shirts. And it all starts with the lie everyone assumes, that Best Buy's employees aren't salespeople. The commission-free myth. Walk into Best Buy and you feel safe, relaxed. Like the blue shirt in front of you is just there to help, not to sell. Everyone's heard the same reassuring line. Best Buy employees don't work on commission. And technically, that's true. But here's the part almost nobody outside the store ever sees. Best Buy may not pay commission, but they run the sales floor as if they do. Every employee, from the greeter to the TV specialist, is tracked, scored, and quietly pushed to hit specific numbers. Warranty conversions, credit card signups, accessory bundles, open box placements, even certain brand recommendations. Former employees describe daily huddles where managers highlight who's green and who's red. Green means you're meeting goals, red means you're not, and everyone knows it. That's when the pressure starts. Suddenly, that helpful suggestion to buy the slightly pricier model doesn't feel so random. One worker summed it up perfectly. It's not commission, it's pressure. You don't get paid extra for selling more, but you definitely get noticed when you don't. And that pressure shapes every conversation you have in the store. When someone guides you toward a different laptop or nudges you up a price tier, it's not because they're evil. It's because the system behind them is whispering, sell the thing with the better margin. Sell the thing that helps the numbers. Sell the thing that keeps you out of the red. So the truth is simple. You're not just talking to an employee. You're talking to someone who's being measured. And if that surprised you even a little, wait until you see the product Best Buy pushes the hardest, because it isn't even technology. The extended warranty money machine. You know that moment at checkout when the blue shirt leans in and says, "Do you want the protection plan?" It's just a few extra dollars. It feels harmless, almost responsible, like you're doing the smart thing. But here's the secret most shoppers never hear. Those protection plans are one of Best Buy's highest margin products, far more profitable than the devices they're supposedly protecting. Best Buy doesn't just offer extended warranties, they depend on them. The math behind these plans is brutally simple. Most people never use them, and when they do, the fine print often tilts the outcome heavily in Best Buy's favor. It's not an insurance plan, it's a revenue engine. Former employees talk about being told exactly how many warranties they need to sell per shift, sometimes one for every 4 major purchases. Fall behind, and you can expect a conversation with a manager. Here's where things get frustrating. A customer might think they're covered, only to discover a tiny clause that turns their protection into a denial. Liquid damage, accidental damage, firmware issues, one wrong detail, and suddenly the plan is useless. One shopper described bringing in a laptop with a dead screen, only to be told it was their fault because of pressure damage, even though the laptop had never left their desk. They walked out with nothing but a shrug and a bill. And this is the emotional twist. You're not buying peace of mind. You're buying Best Buy's most reliable profit stream. You think you're protecting your purchase, but really, you're protecting their quarterly earnings. The store depends on these plans so much that some employees say the pressure to sell warranties is stronger than the pressure to sell the products themselves. But here's the part that really stings. All that worry about protecting your device becomes pointless if the device wasn't perfect to begin with. And that leads us straight into the next trap, the one hiding behind a friendly yellow sticker, the open box roulette. A yellow sticker shouldn't make your heart race, but in Best Buy, it does. That open box tag flashes like a secret handshake, a whisper that says, this is where the smart shoppers save money. The price drops, the packaging looks mostly intact, and the deal feels almost too good to pass up. But here's the twist. Behind that yellow sticker is a level of inconsistency most shoppers have never even considered. Best Buy sorts open box items into categories: excellent, satisfactory, and fair. On the surface, it feels scientific, almost clinical. In reality, the process can be shockingly shallow. Some products were returned because someone changed their mind, while others were returned because something was clearly wrong, and the issue was never never fully diagnosed. If it powers on, displays a menu, or boots to a home screen, it often goes right back on the shelf. And the stories behind these returns, that's where things get messy. Tech reviewers have found TVs with uneven backlighting, laptops missing key components, and cameras with scratched lenses tucked neatly back into their boxes. One shopper opened their excellent condition MacBook only to find the previous owner's files and thermal logs showing repeated overheating. Another grabbed a discounted monitor that flickered like a strobe light the moment it left the store. Here's the emotional gut punch. OpenBox is marketed as a win for the informed shopper, but the risk is quietly transferred to you. Best Buy gets the sale, you get the surprise. Saving $200 feels incredible until you realize you've inherited someone else's frustration. Sure, you can return it, but returns cost time, effort, and sometimes restocking fees, depending on the category. And that perfect deal you thought you found, it's gone the moment you hand it back. The truth is simple. OpenBox isn't a scam, but it is a gamble. A gamble where you don't get to see the cards before placing the bet. And if you think OpenBox policies feel uneven, just wait, because the next system Best Buy proudly advertises, the one that sounds the most customer-friendly, is built on loopholes designed to stop you from winning. The price matching mirage. Price match sounds like the ultimate safety net, a policy that promises, don't worry, if you find it cheaper, we've got your back. It's the kind of guarantee that builds instant trust, the kind that makes you think, why bother shopping anywhere else? But hidden inside that promise is a maze of exceptions, so specific, so technical, that most real-world deals never qualify. On paper, Best Buy's price match policy looks generous. In practice, it's a masterclass in controlled limitations. Third-party sellers excluded. Flash sales excluded. Marketplace listings where the item is sold by anyone other than the retailer itself excluded. Bundles, special coupons, limited time promotional quantities, all off the table. The policy gives you confidence, but that confidence collapses the moment you try to use it, and the stories are painfully familiar. A shopper walks in with an Amazon listing pulled up on their phone, excited to save $120. The blue shirt takes one look and says, "We can't match that. It's sold by a marketplace seller." Another customer finds a TV $200 cheaper at a competitor, only to hear, "Sorry, that's part of a limited quantity promotion." The deal feels real until the policy finds a technicality. Here's the emotional sting. The price match promise isn't designed to help most customers. It's designed to make them feel safe. Because if you think you can always get the best price at Best Buy, you're far less likely to comparison shop. The illusion keeps you in the store, even when the savings don't materialize. And there's an even sharper twist. Price match policies almost never apply after you've bought something, unless you catch the price drop within a very narrow window. And even then, certain types of sales still don't qualify. That means you might pay full price today, while the same item quietly goes on sale tomorrow, and you have no recourse. But the most interesting part, the frustration doesn't end at checkout, because once something breaks, glitches, crashes, or refuses to turn on, shoppers fall into the next system, one that feels like it should be your lifeline, but often leaves people even more confused. The Geek Squad paradox. There's a certain comfort in seeing that black and orange Geek Squad badge. It feels official, almost elite, like you're handing your device to the tech world's version of a trained surgeon. For years, Geek Squad built a reputation as the go-to fix-it team for anyone who didn't know a motherboard from a microwave. But behind that confident branding is a reality that's far less polished than the logo suggests. The surprising truth is that many Geek Squad repairs aren't performed by specialized technicians at all. A large portion are outsourced to third-party centers, and even in-store repairs often fall to employees with only basic troubleshooting training. Former staff describe learning fixes from binders, scripts, and flowcharts, not from certification programs or advanced repair instruction. If the diagnosis goes beyond a simple part swap, devices are frequently marked unrepairable, not because they can't be fixed, but because the store isn't equipped to go deeper. One customer brought in a laptop that wouldn't boot, expecting a repair. After a quick, scripted check, the employee told them the motherboard was likely toast and suggested replacing the entire device. Later, a local repair shop fixed it for under $70. A loose connector the Geek Squad never opened the case to inspect. Another customer paid for a full diagnostic, only to receive a printout recommending they buy a new computer instead. And here's the emotional gut punch. You're paying for expertise, but often receiving a standardized checklist. The brand sells reassurance. The experience often delivers something far more transactional. Geek Squad isn't always a scam, but the gap between what people believe they're buying and what they actually get is wider than most realize. This is also where the upselling pressure returns. Repairs can turn into replacement pitches. Simple fixes get framed as costly overhauls. A cracked screen becomes a better to upgrade moment. And once again, the system quietly nudges the outcome in Best Buy's favor, not yours. Before we move deeper, if you're still watching and this is opening your eyes even a little, hit like so more people see this. And subscribe if you want more exposés like this one. These breakdowns take hours to build, and your support helps the algorithm push them to viewers who genuinely need this info, because the next shift inside Best Buy is bigger, quieter, and completely changes the shopping experience. Not just what you buy, but how you buy it. The store within a store takeover. Walk into a modern Best Buy and something feels different, even if you can't put your finger on it. The store doesn't feel like one big tech playground anymore. It feels carved up, carved into branded kingdoms. Step to the left and you're suddenly in Apple's sleek white showroom. Move a little further and Samsung's neon blue universe takes over. Microsoft, Sony, Google, each one claiming its own territory, its own lighting, its own carefully crafted atmosphere. This isn't an accident, it's a business model. Major tech brands literally buy space inside Best Buy, paying for placement, layout control, and sometimes even staffing influence. The displays aren't just displays, they're real estate, and the companies with the deepest pockets get the best neighborhoods. Former employees talk about being told to direct customers towards specific areas, even when those options weren't the best fit. Not because the products were superior, but because the brands behind them were paying for visibility. Some were even given subtle incentives or priority talking points when guiding shoppers. It wasn't about finding the right laptop for your needs. It was about reinforcing whichever brand owned that corner of the floor. And this shift changes the psychology of the store. You think you're browsing a wide selection. In reality, you're walking through curated zones shaped by outside corporations. Best Buy becomes the stage. The brands become the directors. Instead of an unbiased tech hub, the store turns into a mosaic of mini showrooms, all competing for your attention, your trust, and most importantly, your wallet. The emotional twist, that old sense of wandering freely, discovering things, comparing items side by side, it's quietly fading. The store you remember from the 2000s, with DVDs stacked to the ceiling and aisles you could actually explore, has been re-engineered into a monetized map, a map that guides your eyes and feet long before you realize you're being steered. And the most surprising part? This takeover isn't even the biggest reason Best Buy no longer feels like the toy store for adults. So many people grew up loving. That shift, the one that changed the entire vibe of the store, is coming next. The death of the toy store for adults. There was a time when walking into Best Buy felt like stepping into the future. Rows of DVDs glowing under blue lights, video game aisles buzzing with demo stations, entire walls of CDs you could flip through for hours. It wasn't just a store, it was a playground for anyone who loved tech, music, or movies. A place where you could lose track of time and walk out with something you didn't even know you wanted. But that version of Best Buy didn't disappear overnight. It faded, inch by inch, shelf by shelf, until one day you walked in and realized something was missing. Not an item, not a product line, a feeling. The shift started quietly. Inventory shrank. Browsing sections were replaced by locked cases. Those massive DVD walls became tiny, lonely racks in the corner. High-touch displays turned into minimalistic, restricted islands. And little by little, the store that once felt alive began to feel transactional. Less discovery, more controlled flow, less joy, more efficiency. Employees noticed it first. They talk about the energy dropping when music sections were gutted. They watched customers wander in, expecting the old Best Buy, only to look around, confused, and walk right back out. Parents who used to bring their kids to explore stopped coming. Teens who used to camp in the gaming aisle had no reason to linger anymore. And the irony is painful. Best Buy made these changes for profitability. Cleaner floors, tighter inventory, fewer theft opportunities, more showroom-style displays. On paper, it made perfect business sense. But emotionally, it stripped away the soul of the store, the magic that made people feel like they were stepping into a world of possibilities. What's left is a place that's efficient, organized, calculated, but no longer enchanting. The toy store for adults grew up, put on a suit, and traded whimsy for margins. And here's the twist. This evolution didn't just change how you shop. It changed what Best Buy collects from you every time you step inside. And what they do with that information is the next piece of the puzzle. The data harvesting strategy. The real shift inside Best Buy doesn't happen on the shelves or the sales floor. It happens at the checkout counter, quietly, casually, with one simple question. What's your email or phone number? It sounds innocent, almost routine, like something every store asks now. But behind that tiny request is one of Best Buy's most powerful systems. A data engine designed to track what you buy, when you buy, and how likely you are to buy again. Most shoppers hand over their info without thinking twice, but the moment you do, a profile begins to take shape. One that records your spending habits, product preferences, returns, warranties, browsing patterns, and interaction history. This isn't just for rewards, it's for behavioral targeting. The more Best Buy knows about you, the easier it becomes to sell to you. Employees describe how the system can flag high-value customers, predict who's likely to purchase certain add-ons, and even recommend upsells based on your past decisions. Ever wondered why a cashier suggests a specific accessory at checkout? Or why your email fills with eerily precise offers after one visit? It's not coincidence. It's the algorithm doing exactly what it was built to do. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not just shopping, you're feeding the machine. Every swipe of your rewards card, every lookup of your purchase history, every return, every warranty claim adds another layer to your data profile. Best Buy isn't just selling products anymore. They're selling predictions and optimizing the entire shopping experience around them. One customer said they were stunned when an employee pulled up their history and casually referenced 3 items they bought years earlier. Another received a targeted offer for a device they had only looked at once in the store. Not purchased, not scanned, just looked at. That's the level of tracking happening behind the scenes. And here's where the emotional shift hits. The Best Buy of the past wanted your attention. The Best Buy of today wants your information. But for all the traps, tricks, and systems we've exposed so far, there is a way to shop this store without getting burned. In fact, there are moments when Best Buy actually beats Amazon, Walmart, and every online retailer combined, if you know how to play the game. When Best Buy actually is worth it. For all the traps, the pressure, the hidden systems, and the carefully engineered sales funnels, here's the plot twist nobody expects. Best Buy isn't always the bad guy. In fact, under the right circumstances, it can be the smartest place to shop, even smarter than Amazon, Walmart, or your favorite online deal site. The problem isn't that Best Buy has no value. The problem is that most shoppers don't know when the store becomes a gold mine and when it becomes a money pit. Start with TVs. One of the last categories where in-person shopping still matters. Online reviews can't show you panel uniformity, blooming, glare, or motion handling. But standing in front of a wall of displays at Best Buy, you can see the truth instantly. And employees admit something interesting. The best deals often drop during major events, like Super Bowl season or holiday sales, when Best Buy gets bulk inventory at lower wholesale prices than many competitors. If you know the timing, you win. Then there's same-day pickup. When you need a laptop, camera, router, or phone charger today, Best Buy beats online convenience every time. No waiting, no delivery issues, no porch theft risk. During emergencies, failed modem, broken keyboard, dying headphones before a flight, Best Buy becomes the hero Amazon can't be. Open box, excellent condition items are another hidden advantage. Not all open box deals are worth the risk, but the excellent tier products, especially TVs, monitors, and tablets, often come from people who returned items simply because they changed their mind, not because anything was wrong. Combine that with Best Buy's return window, and suddenly you're looking at some of the best tech bargains available offline. And let's talk about holiday return policies. Best Buy often extends returns for weeks, sometimes months, during the holiday season. That means you can buy early, lock in a deal, and still exchange the item long after most retailers cut off their return periods. Finally, there's something most shoppers don't know. Best Buy has agreements with major brands like Apple, Samsung, and LG that allow certain repairs or replacements to happen faster than going directly through the manufacturer. In rare cases, the store becomes the quickest path to a resolution. So yes, the store has traps, but it also has tools. And once you understand both, you're no longer a passive shopper. You're someone who knows when to walk away and when to walk in with confidence. Because here's the real point. Best Buy isn't dangerous if you know the rules. It's dangerous if you don't. And now that you understand the rules, there's only one question left: the verdict. The truth behind the blue shirts. Step back for a moment and look at the bigger picture. Best Buy didn't become the store it is today by accident. The blue shirts, the warranties, the open box deals, the carefully parceled showrooms, the shifting inventory, the data collection, every piece is part of a system designed to guide you long before you ever touch a product. Not trick you, not deceive you, but shape your choices in ways most shoppers never notice. And that's the real takeaway. Best Buy isn't evil. It's engineered. Engineered to sell warranties because they're pure profit. Engineered to push certain brands because those brands pay for the privilege. Engineered to make you feel safe with policies that, once inspected closely, don't always work in your favor. Engineered to gather data so the next sale becomes even easier. But here's the part that matters. Now you see the blueprint. Now you understand the levers behind the scenes. And once you understand the system, you're no longer the customer it was designed to manipulate. You become the shopper who knows when to take the deal, when to say no, when to ask questions, and when to walk out. You can still shop at Best Buy. Absolutely. But you can't walk in blind anymore. That version of shopping is gone. And the people who don't realize that are the ones who overpay, overshare, and walk out wondering why the experience didn't feel the same as it used to. So here's the final verdict. The store can still work for you, but only if you work smarter than the system. And now I want to hear from you. What's your best or worst Best Buy experience? Drop it in the comments. The good, the bad, the downright unbelievable. If you learned something in this video, hit like so more people see it. And subscribe for more deep dives into the places you thought you understood. Because the next story, it's even bigger, and you won't want to shop the same way again.